Author is funded by the Pacific Northwest Writers Association, supporting writers from pen to publication since 1955. To learn more about the PNWA and their yearly conference, please go to pnwa.org. Hi, this is Bill Kenower of Author Magazine, and today I'm in the Seattle home of Elizabeth Rose Stanton, author of Bub. Elizabeth, welcome to Author.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Elizabeth, you have a pretty unusual career trajectory. I've interviewed a lot of writers, but you really didn't come to this till later on. You had a whole career beforehand.
I had a couple of careers, actually.
Architect?
I went to graduate school, became an architect, and then worked as an architect in New York for a couple of years. Then met my husband and started to have kids, and that kind of killed all my architect brain cells.
But after, so you said, okay, I can't go back to architecture. And so you went into
I went back, I dove into art.
Did you feel like while you were doing that, you began to develop a voice as an illustrator? Or
No, I didn't know. That was part of the problem. Or what I realize now, I was finding my way, I think cosmically, and I didn't realize it.
Right.
And then a friend of mine, this must have been maybe in 2010 or 11, said to me, I'm taking a class at Pratt in children's writing and illustrating. Do you want to join? I think I even joined the class late, and I was like, okay, because I had been thinking about it, and I had been. And then a friend of mine, another friend, talked me into going to the New York conference in 2012.
The SCBWI conference.
The big one in New York.
And did you have a product?
I had a portfolio, and I had a book dummy, and I put it in the show. And there's like 250 portfolios in that show. So I just was hoping somebody, I was setting goals, and my goal was that somebody might say something kind about, even in passing, about my portfolio. Well, about a week after I got back, I got a call from a New York literary agent who had picked up my card. She'd seen my portfolio, and she liked it. And so she said, what else you got? And so I told her about Henny, and she said, I think you got something there. And about a week after that, I got an email with a contract.
Oh my God!
I know, and I went.
Don't tell any. We shouldn't even publish this story.
It's like, what just happened? Wow. And then I thought, okay, how bad can this be? So I signed on the dotted line, and then we had our SCBWI conference here in Redmond, the Western Washington one. And so I said to my agent, well, I got Henny, and we had gotten it ready for submission, but we hadn't gotten it out there. And so she said, well, yeah, take it, and if you get a chance to show it to someone, do it. And an art director from Simon & Schuster saw it, and I went to New York about a week after the conference to meet my agent and to visit family. We have family there, and I walked in, and she looked at me and she goes, Simon & Schuster just called and made an offer on your book. And I was like, is there someone standing behind me? Who, what? Wow. And honestly, I felt like I was driving a big truck with my foot on the gas, and my hands suddenly came off the wheel, and it was like, what?
But what's interesting about that is that I know other children's book authors who are kind of illustrators first, like yourself, and so the challenge is having a story, because that's a whole different, and your characters just have so much personality in them, and I don't know how much they evolve from the first time you discovered them to what we see in the books, but I imagine some changes occur.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can just feel the story within them. You can feel their intention.
Yes, and
they have such desire.
Actually, a good point. It's what I call, and I'm ripping this off from my architecture days, it's the partie. They reflect the partie. The partie, it's derived from a French word. Yeah. And it's basically the core idea of a thing, and architects refer to it as the organizing principle, thing around which the building has to be organized. So I refer to my characters that way as the partie. The partie for Petals was the fact that this little piggy had gotten his cowboy boots, and that was the most important thing to him, and everything had to be built around that. That was the immutable part of that character. And then the story flowed out of that. But it always had to come back and be informed by the little piggy hugging the cowboy boots and that joy and love that he had, because that represented something that actually ended up representing his creative wanting to do something creative.
So when you're writing it, are you also picturing the illustrations as you go, or do you just want to get the story down?
I think a little bit of both. The way I do it is I go back and forth. I'll start with the character, and then I'll start with then I'll write, and then if I get stuck, I'll start drawing. So that sometimes can help. And I discovered actually with the next book that I'm working on, which is called Cowie, I just revised the book dummy,
right.
And it was really fun because it's like solving a puzzle or putting puzzle pieces together, because there has to be that rhythm, the page turns, right. The anticipation. You have to have the right number of pages.
That's
and
right.
Things have to happen at roughly certain
Are you always 32
points.
For you? Is it?
No, mine are all 40.
40, okay.
They're all 40, yep. And it was really fun.
Yeah.
It was
Are you getting better at it, do you think?
I think I am. It's been a really steep learning curve.
Yeah, well, apparently you're learning.
Good. Well, I hope so.
You must like it.
I do. It's like, to quote Marie Sendax, I do it because I can't not do it.
Good. And would you say, of all the things you've done, do you think that that statement is the most true about
Yes.
a children's book?
Oh, for me, yes.
Yeah, for you.
I
Of
can't
all the things
stop.
you've done.
Half the time I'm miserable because I have to go and talk, or I have to
can't
do
go back
something.
to-
I do social media stuff. I do all this stuff. I don't hate the social media
it's
stuff,
not
but
as-
all the chores. I have made myself do things I never thought I would.
You know why that is? Is because when you're doing the art, whether you're writing or putting the book together, whatever it is, you have to go in to that creative place and listen to that creative voice, and it's all in here, and there's really almost nothing you can do that can get you as connected, at least for me, connected to what I am seeking connection to, as doing the work. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff I do, it's okay, but nothing quite matches.
You know, I liken it to having children in a way, because I have done things historically with my kids or for my kids that I never thought I would do. I've overcome some anxieties and fears that I've had for my children, and so now that I'm doing this for my books, it is because you love something,
right?
And I think that's the simplest way to put it. And I can't. I don't know why I can't stop, but I can't.
Don't question it. Think about it. There's nothing better than having something that you can't not do.
Oh,
what a luxury.
I already have strategies too for like when I can't draw anymore, I can't see, and because I'm not.
You're already anticipating
I'm not
that.
A spring chicken. I'm thinking
understand.
Maybe I can teach, or maybe I'll just write blogs, or I'll be a reviewer, but I can still do this.
You know, I think one of your gifts is that you had low expectations.
I had no expectations.
Even better.
I know.
I had huge
and
expectations,
I tell them that too.
And screwed me up to no end.
See, it does.
Oh, it screws you. It's a curse.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that I talk to people about that expectation thing. Don't have expectations. It'll get you into trouble.
Yeah. Well, Elizabeth, I got one more question for you. Just one more. And what I'd like you to do is finish this sentence for me.
Oh, dear.
You can do it. You can do it. If writing children's books has taught me anything, it's taught me what?
That you can overcome your fears.